Hi, how are you? It's good to see you here. Thank you for tuning in. Still playing around with my intro into these, so if anybody has ideas, let me know. How are you? Welcome. We're here today, and then I feel like an astrologist, like weather person. Today on your astrology moon tarot podcast. It's a lot of stuff. So, Happy New Year. Yay. Um I love I don't say I love the new year. I like the new year. There are also things about it that I don't like. I try not to make like resolutions. I mean, I will help you with yours if you need help with your resolutions so that we can make them reasonable or doable and not overwhelming. I'm all about intentions or even just picking one word, or your resolution should be something fun or something from your soul. Those are always good. It's nice because we have this energy right now. The new moon is tomorrow from when I'm doing this. So January 5th and 6th is a new moon. And then we are also experiencing a partial solar eclipse. And I forgot to look up where you could see that. I doubt it's in North America because usually we don't get to see them. But we're getting this very, very powerful new beginning energy. We've had it a few little times this last year, but right now, the beginning of 2019, this Capricorn new moon is like the best energy to really sit down and look at not just this year, but look at your life and to figure out if you like what you're looking at, or do you like the story that you're writing? And if you don't, how are you going to change that? Because it's your story. You're the only one living it, and you should have a good story. Everybody deserves a good story. I hope it's been very interesting so far. I've noticed, I don't know about you guys, but the energy I'm feeling, it's very buzzy, like a buzzy but slow. Like I almost feel like the image I got, I almost feel like a big fat fuzzy bumblebee that's just like rolling around, still working, still doing my thing, but I've been doing it for a while, so I don't have to be all zippy around everything and try to get it done all quick. And this is a great energy to kind of, and a great image to focus on, because this energy from this new moon solar eclipse could, because of the combination, I mean, we're dealing with some powerful things that are happening in the last couple of years, energetically wise, in the universe and the planets and this solar system that we're a part of, that has been, we haven't seen in a long time. And it's gearing up for a reason. The universe is trying to like wake us all up. So, back to my big bumblebee energy. Like your brain could be going crazy. So make sure you're writing stuff down. Make sure that you're writing all your ideas down, with everything that you want to do or you feel like you need to do. Just write it down. And even if you don't look at it right away, just like have a place where you're writing it down so it's not on your brain. Because I'm sure you're feeling very enthusiastic. I mean, the new year does that anyway, but this energy even more so. Because Capricorn energy knows how to get shit done. That's what they do. But it's okay to let it go slow if you need it to. You know, let it take your time. Because usually the slower you go, the more sustainable what you're doing is. And that's the main thing here, is that we want sustainability for the good things in your life. So, if you have somehow made it out of the last few years without any major shakeups or tragedies or really hard lessons, I have a feeling that you're going to get some this year. So just kind of be prepared for that. There are no bad lessons, just hard lessons. So just trust that when our world is being shooken up, there's a reason for it. The universe wants to wake us up. That's why it's like, shh, wake up, you guys. So get ready for that. It could happen easily. They could easily be throwing some major lessons your way if you maybe have gotten complacent in your world. If you, like many of us that have dealt with your fair share of shakeups, I keep moving and my light keeps messing around. There it goes again. It's my face. If you've had your fair share of shakeups in the last couple years, especially since 2016, all of our favorite years, then this year things should start smoothing out, especially if you've recognized those shakeups, you've tried to find the lessons in the hardships, and that you've been working on cultivating your growth, that you're learning from those lessons, you're cultivating your growth and the evolution of yourself. And again, the sustainability of all that new magic, because it's all those cheesy things about, it's all those cheesy things about, you know, light at the end of the tunnel. I used to know a lot, and now my brain is going completely blank. You know, it's always darkest before the dawn, those sort of things. So just remember everything's temporary when those things are happening, and know that whatever you are doing after your major lessons, if you're doing things to change yourself and your life for the better, you are right where you are supposed to be. Okay. We are it's a universal 3-year numerology, and all of these I'm just giving you guys little tidbits of things, and then my little interpretation about them, and then you can always go Google. There's so much stuff on the internet about this stuff, so you can go Google it. So it's a 3-year numerologically wise. So, you know, 2016 was a 9-year. So a lot of endings, a lot. That's why so many deaths. Those tend to happen on 9 years like that, because there's endings of the cycle especially for those souls. And then the 1 year, it was very much about finding our own strength. In the 2-year, finding the strength in each other. And then in the 3-year, you know, I always like to think of a triangle. Now it's time to, you know, we have this strength foundation. We're learning how to lean on each other. And now we can, like, transcend and continue to evolve together. And I just sent out an email, a little tidbit about that. So if you don't get my emails, it is pinned to the top of Meryl's Mystic Facebook page. Please go sign up for that. I don't send out a ton of emails. This was like the first non-seasonal email. So every now and then, so that you guys know what's going on and deals and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get to the cards. I'm ready. How about you? We're already 9 minutes in. Try not to talk too much, but I got a lot to tell you guys. So, is there anything else? Capricorn. So Capricorn, I might have mentioned this in the last video since it was the beginning of Capricorn season, is represented by the devil in the tarot. And don't let it be a bad thing. A lot of the time, the tarot cards that are associated with the astrology signs are kind of like warnings. I feel like that's more like a warning, a lesson to the astrology sign of saying, hey, you could either use this power for good or you could use it for evil. And usually when you're using it for evil, it's to harm yourself or others. And we don't want to do that. So the devil And I also probably brought up Saturn as the ruling planet of Capricorn. And Saturn is where Saturday comes from and Saturday's the first day off of the week because they used to have Saturn festivals, and they were like, it was like the purge, but without killing. I don't think there was killing. I could do more research on that. I don't think anybody could. It was more debauchery, like freaking Mardi Gras style sort of thing. Because Capricorns are so used to being on top of their shit, showing up, getting it done. They know who they are. They are very positive people. They don't let a lot of things bring them down. But at the same time, when you're the one doing everything, it can be a lot. It can be a lot on you. And so the devil is definitely a warning against self-medicating or dealing with these stressors in a negative, unhealthy way. And that's why it's good to let off some steam so that you're not like figuring out, healthy ways to let off steam. So that you aren't tempted into unhealthy ways of blowing off steam. And, I'm even a fan of dabbling in a little unhealthy every now and then. It's life. Come on. We gotta have fun. Okay, so I'm already all shuffled. Ooh, cut the deck here. Oh, that was a quick cut. So, first question is, what is the general energy we should be connecting with in order to get the most out of this cycle? I thought that was a good one just because this could last so long and it is so powerful. So let's see what we got off. Ooh. It's our best friend, you guys. It's our friend, the High Priestess. Hello, High Priestess. Again, because everything cycles into the next. This is intuition. The High Priestess is all about intuition. Not only that, she is the guardian between the physical and the spiritual. And when I say spiritual, spirituality is very broad. It includes a lot. I also I'm a believer in science too, things that they can prove, but there's no proof of these things necessarily not existing. Does that make sense? So it's a little agnostic if you need a label on it. Spirituality is a big, broad thing. So many names, and it's all just to find the right formula that fits with you. You're a unique being. You need your special formula. The thing about the High Priestess, though, is she wants us to recognize that we're more than just physical beings. And this is great because Capricorn energy a lot of the time can be a little too practical and a little too grounded. I see it firsthand. My boyfriend is a Capricorn. Love you, babe. And I'm a crazy, dreamy Scorpio. So we balance each other out. Excuse me. I really hope that the microphone didn't just pick up me burping. How rude is that? Okay. So she's here to remind us that we're more than physical beings. And I feel like that is a huge thing I'm taking into 2019 with me, is that no matter what you do or do not believe in, you cannot deny, most people cannot deny you have a soul. There's no proof whether it is or isn't, or there's no proof of what happens to it when we die. So that's where the faith comes in, where spirituality comes in. And I don't want to put it on you as in like rely on something outside of yourself. Just recognize that you are a part of something outside of yourself. You are a part of it. It is not greater than you. You are not greater than it. You are a part of it. It is in you. You are it. We are a part of something bigger. So the High Priestess here If you see she's sitting on her little throne, here's her moon. Here's her little crescent moon, which is like our partial eclipse, kind of. And then see her little like tapestry behind her? That is actually the veil. That is representative of the veil. And if you pulled that back, it would be like the universe and the moon and the stars and the ether. The ether, you know? We're all part of something bigger. So I think that's definitely a great connection to, this is very much connection. We are part of Earth. We are part of something out in the stars that we don't totally understand. And I think to recognize that is to truly help you to step into your power here on Earth. That connect the heaven and earth connection. More on that later. Let's continue. It's 5 minutes of just the High Priestess. Okay. How can we use this High Priestess energy to help manifest our goals this year? Ooh. The Page of Wands in reverse. The Page of Wands always throws me for a loop when he's in reverse. So, because the Page of Wands, if he was here, I'd be like, oh, it's time to like start something new. You start on a new journey of passion. He's a little stalled. He's a little stalled here. So again, I feel like this is kind of like, okay, so you're looking out and you're looking out into wherever he's looking out. He's looking at where his journey is going to take him. And the wands are all about your inner fire, your passion. We've talked about that a lot, that inner spark. And the page is so great about going out and making sure that his light does not go out. But he's a little stalled. Our Ace of Wands keeps coming up reverse too. We've been a little stalled with our little light, with our fire. So with this, how we can use in conjunction with our High Priestess here, it's again kind of like that, what I was saying about that big buzzing energy. There's a buzz here, but it's not quite time to make a quick journey. Make sure that you are being mindful about the steps you are taking forward. Make sure that when you are taking steps forward, you're doing it from a soul place, a place from your heart and soul. Because if you just go and you don't really know where you're going, you don't know what you're heading towards, you might not end up going where you want, where you might not like where you end up. Okay, so next card. What can we do to make ourselves priority number one in order to use our intuition and our soul power to take our journey, our journey of passion? I'm like, please don't have the reverse. Oh, this is power. This is good stuff, you guys. We got good stuff going on here. Okay, so here's the Chariot, which is the Cancer card that we just had our full moon in. So here's a little leftover energy of that, and see how it's all cycles into the next one. So how can we make ourselves priority number one? And this, okay, I love when synchronicities happen. I'm hoping we can do some like synchronicity workshops or something this year. Oh, there's so much to come, you guys. It's so exciting. So if you look here, we have our dark, our light, and our dark. I can't remember what the B and J stands for. It's the BJ, you guys. And then here again with our Chariot, here's our light and our dark. See? So these images are here to remind us that we all need our light and our dark, but we need a balance of it. And a lot of time you can't find your light without going into your dark. And the universe wants us to find our light. So just because you're trying to find your light doesn't mean that it blocks out the dark. Your light can be over here and your dark can be over here. But at the same time, they're both huge parts of you. Your dark is part of your story just as much as your light. Your shadow, the hardships are just as big a part of your story as the light that you shine. And with the Chariot coming up, how are you going to make yourself priority number one? You're going to do this. You're going to move forward. So this is very interesting because it's telling us, we're bigger than we know. Soul, intuition, connection. A slow buzz of a start, but we're moving. As long as you're moving forward, you're going. It doesn't have to be so fast. Reminder, we're still moving. And the Chariot is all about journeys of the heart, soul, heart. Just make sure you're not going too quickly. The slower, I know we live in such a fast-paced society, and I'm constantly trying to slow down. Sometimes it's good to go fast, and there's a time for it. But when we're trying to live this life here and this life here, the soul and the heart connection, you can't rush it. Because you need that fire. You can't rush it. You can't rush building a fire, and you slowly add to it to cultivate its warmth. So this is definitely, how can we make ourselves priority number one? Make sure when you are moving forward, it's from the heart. It's all working together. That's why I love this so much. It's all working together. Okay, so I wrote a couple different things down, but I don't want to go too long. So the next thing I want to do this 3-card reading that I do for a lot of people because I feel like it's great to give you guys action, like actual action. And if you've seen, I have a lot of 3-card readings. And for the whole month of January, I'm doing 3-card readings for donation. So please reach out to me. Please check out my social media so that you can see what all of my deals are for the month. And you do not have to be right in front of me to do it. Please reach out to me, you guys, because it gets even cooler and more profound when you and I are doing it together and it's just for you. This is very general. So let's do a stop, start, continue. So I'm going to pull a card for something we need to start doing, something we need to stop doing, and something we should continue doing. And all in aspect of the cards we just pulled, but also how do we get out of our heads and into our heart space, and what can we do to make sure we're blowing off steam and letting loose? We need a balance here. So let's do start, stop, continue. So start, stop, interesting. Okay, this is very cool. And if I can figure it out, I will try to take a picture of this. Okay, so start. 4 of Cups. So when this comes up in the start, when this comes up in the start position, we have to start taking our blinders down. The 4 of Cups comes up when we get too caught up in exactly what we want to achieve. This is really great for resolutions, big resolutions that feel really hard to achieve, or if we're putting too much pressure on ourselves. We get in this mode where we're like, okay, here's what I got to do. Here's what I have to achieve. Here's the weight I have to lose. Here's the habit I have to quit doing. Here's all these things. And it has to look like this. And I'm not going to be happy until I get exactly these things. So while we're sitting here focusing on all this, there's this cup right here. And it's just coming out of nowhere, out of the ether, out of the universe. This is a gift here. We have to stop limiting ourselves. This was a huge thing that came up last year too when I did individual readings for people, was we have to stop limiting our choices. We are limiting ourselves. We're limiting our choices. We're limiting our power. It's kind of like when you want to do something and someone's like, here's option A, B, and C. And you're like, I don't like option A, B, and C. And option A, B, and C don't really feel good for me. You know, there are some times, you know, where we have to choose. We sign up for programs. We have to choose what we're doing. You know, math problems, you got to choose A, B, or C. But a lot of the time in life when this is related to, especially with the cups, our heart, our emotion, things that really matter to us. What about option D? Have you ever said, well, is there an option D? And if you don't have option D for me, is there somebody else who has it for me? And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to then that they do a little extra research and they find these solutions that fit them so much more. So sorry, I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode. I got a call. Okay, so 4 of Cups. Start opening up this. I feel like this is like the blind, like when you're putting blinders on yourself. So start taking your view or your situation and opening up your options. Open them up, okay? There are these other gifts right here from the ether, from the universe, from you. You were creating it. Recognize that it's not just these things outside of you trying to help you. You're a co-creator. You are part of it. It is part of you. Okay. So under the stop, this is very interesting because I've never had this card come up and stop. It's the 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords is all about taking what you've learned from the situation, like taking ideas, thoughts, words, situations, taking what you've learned, leaving behind what you no longer serves you, and moving from rough waters into the smooth waters. So what does it mean when we need to stop doing this? Part of this is, I feel like a lot of us have already done this. We've all, like last year was so much letting go. So much letting go. So much letting go of what no longer served us. And taking those things that have served us and bringing them into the future with us. I had this kind of moment recently, and it made me kind of realize too that it's almost like, okay, so when it comes to stopping doing this, it's almost like, okay, last year, if you were just like pushing things out, letting go of it, you've done the work. You've done the work, and you're already in the smooth waters. So stop worrying about going forward still. I had this thought because when my brother passed away, it will be 3 years in February. It really changed me. Big losses like that, however you believe, really change someone. Having real experience with deep grief like that changes you. You do not come out on the other side the same way. So it's almost like stop even resisting the change and coming out differently. Because I then had to grieve also the parts of myself or the parts of my life that were a part of me before. Those things that were outside of me that defined who I was. I had to let those go. And I had to recognize that the things that I learned about myself and gained within my soul were the most important things that I was taking with me. And that there are lots of those things that I could go back to if I wanted to, which is amazing. There's some things that I can't go back to. There's some things that I wish I could go back to, and it's just there's no room in my life now for it. So I know a lot of us, I saw it all the time, were just last year kicking stuff out of our lives left and right, which is good. You don't need it. Fuck them. So it's almost like, okay, we're good. You can stop doing this because you're already on the other side. So it's time to recognize that you're on the other side and be proud that you made it. Be proud that you're probably a better person now. Be proud that you probably like yourself more than you did when you were dealing with that stuff. And I know it's hard to sometimes even like, it's like you got rid of the source of the drama, but you got my cheeks always get so red. It's the lights. You probably got rid of the source of the drama, but sometimes it's when we got so used to the drama being in our lives, it's hard for our brains to even let it go. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and with the swords coming out, this is the only swords. It's the only like thought stuff. So it's like, okay, you already done this, so trust that you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You've gained so much from that. You've gained so much from your experiences. You've gained so much from the letting go. That's all I gotta say about that. So then we have continue. And in the continue, which I think is so great, is the Two of Cups. So we got a lot of heart and soul going on here, y'all, and I love it. So Two of Cups, continue, which I feel like this is so great because this is kind of like continuing from the 2 year. We were just in the 2 year. Now we're in the 3 year. And the 2 year was all about, cultivating our relationships with each other. So the Two of Cups is the like coming together of two souls, the coming together of two people. It's all just about finding your tribe, finding your peeps, and continuing to cultivate that. I believe you have many soulmates in this life. You don't just have one. And it's go out there and find those soulmates, baby. They're out there. And when you have them, make sure you're cultivating relationships with them. So you already did. You already got rid of the people that don't matter anymore. You already got rid of them. So those ones that are still around, you got to continue to cultivate those relationships with them. Let's see what's on the bottom of our deck here. Three of Pentacles, which is a perfect 2. Now there's 3. We have to continue to work together. But remembering that it all starts within you. Your heart and soul, man. It all starts within you, and then it ripples out into our relationships. And you want to have these kind of partnerships with people. Okay? All right. One more card for our most powerful 2019. Ooh, that was a double drop. Ooh, interesting. I've never pulled this card. Interesting. Okay. The Sorcerer. I was always curious about when she was going to come up. She's very cool. She's got a sweet like rainbow behind her. She's like tribal woman, feathers. Looks like some kind of like suns and moon imagery. Let's see. So this is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I'll probably pull another one of these tomorrow on Instagram for you guys. Let's see. It's very interesting because I've pulled the 2 cards around the Sorcerer many times, and I haven't pulled her. Okay. Ooh, this is what we're talking about, you guys. The essence of the Sorcerer. This is the source of dark power. The sorcerer represents the destructive aspect of the human psyche and the self-centered behavior that harms others. It symbolizes the unconscious beliefs and ideas that foster separation, conflict, and scarcity. That devil energy, the warning that you can either own your dark power or you can let it own you. The invitation. When the sorcerer enters your circle, you are being called to look at how your beliefs around scarcity and self-centered fear manifest in your world. Examine the destructive part of your psyche that misuses power or harbors feelings of resentment, vengeance, lust, greed, bigotry, or hatred. You've already done this. You've already turned your back. Perhaps you've harmed someone because of these dark tendencies. If so, all is not lost. You've only forgotten that all beings are interconnected and the universe is abundant. The sorcerer arrives to challenge you to change your thinking. You're given a second chance. Correct your course and practice not blaming others for the darkness that lives inside of you. It's your darkness. Other people have their own darkness to deal with. Don't put yours on them, okay? We can all help each other. Make peace with it and choose another way. It's not going anywhere. It's a part of you. You have to make peace with it. You cannot ignore it. I'm pretty sure I've said this in a couple other readings. You cannot repress it. Do not repress. That's when things come out in unhealthy ways. That's when explosions happen, okay? The medicine. Have you been feeling out of sorts because you've been faced with your own character flaws and the pain that you inflict on others when you are out of alignment? Damn, this card is tough. Radical self-acceptance is called for now. You must reconcile these darker aspects of your nature so you don't behave irresponsibly and cause more harm to yourselves and the ones you love. I've been doing this for a while, and I still get so surprised by how right on these oracle cards are. After I do a reading, it's like everything that we talked about, boom, here you go. We're listening. Where did I go? Sorry, I got all excited. Radical self-acceptance is called for now. You must reconcile these darker aspects of your nature so you don't behave irresponsibly and cause more harm to yourselves and the ones you love. It's time to come out of denial and accept responsibility for your words and deeds. You are a co-creator. It's not happening to you, okay? Some things kind of happen to you, but there's a reason. There's a reason. But for the most part, we're responsible. We have responsibility for how we think, how we act, what we say. When you meet the energy of the sorcerer with humility, this destructive power transforms into grace, which you can use in service to the highest good. Perhaps it's time to make amends. Do it. It will set you free from the shadows and let you step into the light. I guess my work here is done. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. If you didn't hear the message, then I guess it wasn't for you. We gotta be more connected, y'all, to ourselves, to each other. We have to not let the dark own us, but recognize that it's a part of us and it's not going away. I've been having some really interesting discussions about this too, and how the reason why a lot of the time we have such a hard time with other people's behaviors because that exists in us, or we are afraid that it exists in us, or afraid to admit that we were capable of those things. And even if you've done wrong to people and you aren't able to apologize for it, you can still say you're sorry. You know, you can still apologize. Having that energy, just changing the energy about it from feeling guilty to just feeling remorseful, and then being able to forgive yourself is a very powerful energy. I was going to go into like what Ho'oponopono is and all that kind of stuff, but that's a whole nother level of things that I hope to get to share with you guys in the near future. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to get deeper into this and how this applies personally for you and the goals that you have set and the intentions that you want to make happen in this new year, please let me know. This is a great manifestation tool. It's a great validation tool. Please go, follow me, like my pages, subscribe, like the videos, show the love, tell your friends, anybody who you think could benefit from this. I'm working on this really becoming a way for us to connect with ourselves first, so it can ripple out into our connections with each other. And being able to, like the story you look at and have a connection with yourself and your intuition, because we're all capable of it. It's in there, and it wants to come out so badly. I've probably talked a long time, so if you're watching this still, I love you. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you very soon. Okay.